A whole bag, not just part of a bag, but a whole bag, right?
No, I get like a handful, like that. Not a handful, like a fingers full. I know on that
One of my
shit.
homegirls, Brenda, she used to say that when she was a dancer, her instructor used to tell her it's okay to give into your cravings, but if you do, just take like a handful and then just eat that, and that'll satisfy your craving. I was like, that's just not bad advice, especially
I can't be eating just a
Yeah, but
handful of
then
hot Cheetos. No.
some other people are easily teased.
True.
Yeah,
Start downing them shits. Just
that's how it be
shit's
with these
crazy though.
pepperonis, man.
Start tearing them up. Oh, this is gonna be so
fuck
weird
yeah.
to actually see myself like say this stuff.
Don't look at yourself. Look at me.
Look at me,
Bro,
All right,
it's
all right. I'm gonna just
so
jump right
hard.
in. All right, what's going on, Piglets? It's your boy. What's so hard?
You
What's
can
so
see yourself do that shit now.
to not look
It's
at
like hearing
yourself?
yourself in your mic. Whenever
Oh
you hear
yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
no, yeah. I just started streaming with this new
Super
camera,
throw you off.
and every single time I'm playing, I'll look at the top right to be like, "All right, cool. I still look good," and I just keep on looking at myself in the middle of the game.
Oh man.
My only concern is the frames. You can see the glare all up in this bitch. I gotta do this to let people know I'm serious. You know what I'm saying?
Serious moment. Just snatch some motherfuckers off, get all
Serious
close.
moment. It's all good.
For sure, for sure. All right, what's going on, Piglets? It's your boy Taylor B, and I'm joined by my enthusiastic co-host Daniel, DJ, and Joey. Welcome to another installment of Culture
No,
by the
you're not.
Uncultured. And before we go any further, be sure to click that follow or subscribe button. And remember, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Culture by the Uncultured. All right, guys. Another what? Where did he go? Okay, he's back. All right, cool. All right.
We on video
We
now.
lost Daniel
Lost-
in the middle. Yeah,
Major
Yeah, we lost
announcement.
Daniel for more cameras. He's back, so that's good. But yeah,
If
as
the
you can
recording
see,
makes the cut, we'll see.
for sure, a little bit of Kung Fury right there, you know.
It looks
But
it looks like it kept on
yeah,
going.
I mean
so
it's cool.
I guess.
We it did, which is that's perfect actually. But how you guys been? You know, I know we're kind of like things are kind of opening back up. You know, life's looking like it might actually resume. Nothing. Nothing.
I don't know. When did life stop?
You're right.
I don't
This
know
definitely-
I don't know anything about this lighting stuff. No females in the room. I can't get no help with this. I'm trying to eliminate the glare in my lenses.
Yeah, you're trying to get the lighting. I feel you.
It's pointless. All right, I give up. Just try not to focus on what I'm looking at in my screen because it might not be PG.
Can you not hear us, Daniel? Is that what's happening?
I don't even think he's in here.
Is he?
He's
He was.
here.
He was just saying something right now.
It says no vid. He's grayed out.
He says he can hear us, but nobody.
I can't hear him.
Oh my god.
Did he just speed up? Did he just speed up for you guys super fast?
Yeah. Bruh.
I can't hear anything.
Oh
He
my God.
sped
You
up
can't hear
so
Daniel?
fast.
For real, it sounded like fucking.
I still can't hear it.
That's crazy. I don't know why you can't hear him.
Bro,
Maybe this goes on the bloopers reel because
what's happening is you guys are like
if I can't hear
for a
Daniel,
while,
I'm
if
not
it's
gonna get all
quiet-
the conspiracies.
Wait, can you hear me?
Hold on one second. I'm gonna stop it. I can hear you. But you're starting to cut out now too. Hold on.
Oh,
All right. And he has like a little countdown now too. That's kind of dope.
I'm trying to shut us
They're
down.
watching
That's what's
us.
happening.
I mean,
do you see on the bottom where your name is? If you click the little arrow to the right, it shows you the storage.
yeah.
All right, is that individually on ours?
Yeah, that's individual on yours. That's why I said on my storage there's like 248 megabytes. So like if this shit keeps going and then it gets to like
35 gigs.
Basically, I'm gonna try. I have to monitor how fast it goes or doesn't go. If it goes too fast, then obviously I won't be able to keep up with the shit.
Mine
And
is
I'll still
saying
need to figure
mine
out my
says
shit.
135. I still have to figure out where mine is going when we're done recording, so I can clear all those out.
Yeah.
No
I
idea.
usually just archive the episodes too. That'll clear some of the space out, and then I just like delete the fucking cookies and shit like that for Google. But I don't know where the rest of that shit goes because I have no storage for whatever
I'll be
reason
right
on
back.
this thing. And then you guys are all good. He has 6.5, so it's fine. Yeah, Joey's good. I don't know why your name says guest, DJ. It's weird, but anyway. You already did this whole intro shit. Can you hear me, Daniel? Like on a delay, or is it like good? Can you see everybody?
He left.
Can you? You're not responding, so I'm assuming. Oh fuck.
Yeah, he got kicked out.
Damn, this is crazy.
Now he's coming back in. It's reloading for him. Oh, see, Zencaster's like, man, you guys had a 2-hour episode last time. Now you gotta calm down. He had to change his outfit.
I didn't think they would just shove the fucking video in like that though. I thought it would be like an option, like select whether or not you wanted to have video or some shit, you know. But this is like
is so fire, bro.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Labella's is amazing. I got a warning on my health check.
For what? Your name still says guest on mine, so I don't know.
Mine looks good across the board on everybody.
Look. All right, let's just get into the docket and we'll see what we can get out of this, right? I already introed the motherfucker, so we ain't got to do that shit again. All right. There's actually a lot of shit to talk about. First and foremost, Bam Margera kicked off Jackass 4. How do we feel about that? We don't really care, right? He's fucking a fiend of some sort, and obviously they wanted to keep it clean.
That's kind of cold, ain't it?
I mean, in a sense, yeah, but at the same time, like, y'all, there's some grown ass men. Like they were grown when we were little kids, and like, I mean, you're not wrong, but I'm just saying, like, as far as their content, like, they've been doing this for a while, so they should be over.
I think you guys are missing the point. Our podcast is called Culture by the Uncultured, bro. Bam was part of the culture. He was part of the acting like a dumbass culture. I don't know how many people I've seen after Jackass dropped start doing dumb shit. Get into
like
shopping carts and roll down hills. Yeah, all that stuff.
There's a lot of people that do dumb shit and then like.
But I mean, let's keep it real. Somebody who's essentially stupid enough to put themselves at risk in videos all the time, we know they got mental problems. So this ain't no surprise. You know what I'm saying? It's just surprising that everybody else hasn't broken down with him.
Well, I mean, I feel like I think about it from like the prime example of Steve-O. Like he went through that kind of shit too, and he got clean. You know what I mean? Like to stick on with them. Like I could see like maybe him getting mad and maybe even bringing that up. Like, damn, what about Steve-O? Y'all let him do this, and he was fucked up for like the first however many. But then like Steve-O got clean, and they were also like way younger when they did that shit. Like their late 20s, early 30s maybe when they were like when he was still doing shit like that. They've got to be in their 40s or close to it at minimum by now. You know what I mean? So
too grown.
Yeah, for real. For sure. Way too grown. By the way, I bought HBO Max. It's I've only used it like once so far, and well, twice actually. Both on family movie nights. We were with the intentions of watching certain movies. The first movie being Judas and the Black Messiah. The second time, I don't really remember what, but I've watched like mainly fight scenes. Like I watched the end of Ready Player One. I watched the end of Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring. I watched the end of Lord of the Rings: Two Towers, and I also watched Godzilla versus King of Monsters. So, I mean, it's cool. There's a lot of content on there. I've been adding shit to like my list or whatever. I'm like the fucking plug for streaming services. People have been, what's the HBO Max password, bro? Like, hit me up with that. And it's like, all right, for sure. Like, I got fucking Netflix, Hulu, Amazon.
Well, shit, if you're giving it out,
Disney Plus, fucking HBO Max.
Bang Bros. You got it all, bro. You literally I got all my passwords from Brandon.
Shit, man. What about
What's your OnlyFans
Meek Mill
password?
catching flack for that verse? That wow. What about Meek Mill catching flack for that verse with Kobe? What do y'all think about that?
Meek Mill been taking L's since back to
Mhm.
back, bro. I don't know what to tell. I thought he
Yeah.
was over it. I really thought, Meek Mill got over the whole issue with Drake and people coming after him, and his street cred, if you will, was already in question because Twitter fingers is on fire. You know what I'm saying? They stay locked and loaded. You feel me? Like he's ready. You know what I mean? And we thought it was cool because all last year through the pandemic, he was a kind of a positive person on social media. I don't know if you guys noticed at all, but Meek Mill was trying to do like charity work and speak on the
Change
issue. So
prison
I was like,
reform and all that stuff.
it's a good time
Yeah.
for anybody who has some issues or like some naysayers in the community to like just kind of rewrite yourself, I guess, because everybody's so low. And he was doing that.
Yeah.
And then just I don't he dug himself a hole, bro. Like what are you supposed to do? I'm not gonna
For
make no
sure.
excuses for Meek Mill.
I mean, I felt kind of bad just because he's already expressed that he loves Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? They're both from Philly. He's a fan for sure, and it's really sucks that a song, like a whole song, and then like the whole song didn't even leak if I'm not mistaken, but like that verse got out, and like that became the talk of the town, and I'm like, I get it, like, but at the same time, people have been doing that for years in hip
Just
hop.
read the
I don't really
room.
see.
Learn your
I,
audience.
I mean, I guess to a degree for sure, and then
It's just
but
too soon, right? Because
I
if I
guess
keep it real, he's not the first person to refer to a gun as a chopper.
not at
We know how
all.
Kobe died. He died in a
Or
chopper.
talk or
So we
reference a famous death.
right. So people who listen to rap and know lyricism and stuff like that, we understand where it's like it was easy. It was almost like it was just too easy, right? But in
Yeah.
that sense, it was just like,
Yeah.
was it like, bro, you're from Philly. Kobe's from Philly. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
you should have known, like even your people, like you wouldn't even have known, like if I say this, my friends might feel some kind of way, let alone the nation. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I don't know. He's
But
definitely taken.
I will say it was too soon. If he said the same bar 6, 7, 10 years later, nobody would care. Because then it's just like, oh shit, RIP to the Kobe, the realest. You know what I mean? He threw that Kobe bar in there like a homage. But right now it's still tender. Nobody's ready to deal with that.
True, definitely true.
Yeah.
Oh shit, keeping it in music, I just wanted to bring up really quick, because of his past dealings with Takashi or whatever. Obviously, that's a part of Meek Mill taking L's, for the past week or so. I just wanted to bring up that I have noticed that Takashi is taking shots at Cardi B. Not that it's like breaking news or anything like that. Um, I haven't seen anybody talk about this. I haven't seen anybody really reference this. The only thing I've seen is they bring up like a post he made. I think it was on Instagram or something, like in a story or whatever. He asked the question of, if I drug people and robbed them in hotels, would I get canceled for it? My first thought was like, you haven't got canceled for what you did already, so I don't think so. But people just say, "Oh, Takashi speaks" or whatever. Like they didn't say like he's making a reference to somebody or whatever like that. Like, why would he call me in the middle of this? Um, but so I was just like, I knew what he was talking about, but I was like, whatever, let it go. Then today, I think Academic said something about, or he posted Cardi B's another story from Instagram or whatever. She was talking about being taken advantage of or something and won't let it happen again, blah, blah, blah. And then 6ix9ine in the comments says, 6ix9ine in the comments says, while you're reading this, remember Bill Cosby went to jail. And I was just like, oh, he going there. All right. Like, which I also want to say is, I understand it. I understand where he's going with this, but I want to pose a question to you. When people that are like disliked heavily or whatever, right, say something that is like correct or like factual or kind of like, let's say like a bad person like says or like in something in favor of something good, right? Like, let's say for the hell of it, let's say Donald Trump, right? He like something really bad happens, and then he was like, like let's say something really happened to black people, and then he was like super like for it, like, man, that's fucked up, like you can't be doing black people like that, da da da, and like legit, not for some kind of like not for clout or nothing like that, but just because he felt like genuine about it or whatever, right? would we accept that, or would we just be like, nah, we don't fuck with you, we don't fuck with whatever you're talking about? So like that's why I'm trying to relate that to Takashi right now.
It's
Do we
just too
not
far
fuck with what
gone
he's
now.
saying? Yeah, do we not fuck with him because of the things he's already done, or
Yeah.
is it like you got a valid point in this?
I mean, even if what he's saying is true, and yeah, Bill Cosby's still in prison. Yeah, Cardi B has a ratchet past. Yeah, all those things are saying is true. But to me, it just sounds like the kid who got caught up and is still snitching. The kid, literally, the person who tells other people's dirty, even though other people already know, you're just reiterating the same negative information about other people to try to like make you seem like not such a shitty person. But to be
Yeah,
honest, the only your
It's
fame
also
is built
trying to,
off of shittiness anyway. He's already
and it's
too
also
far
trying to
down
like,
that path of,
he's,
where you Go
go
ahead.
ahead, DJ.
oh man, everything's being delayed right now. Whenever our phone is
Freeze.
like for real, like
Okay, all right. Well, I'll just
like
keep going.
I was trying to
Yeah.
talk.
Oh, go.
I was trying to talk in the middle, and then it
You
started
know
cutting
what?
off
You
on
know
me
where
real
you
quick.
just.
Just
Hey,
so I know, this is a test. This is a test.
technical
We're working
difficulty.
through some things. Just give us a couple tries and we'll get it right. You know. But
Yeah, I
I
just
mean,
think he lost and too many people's trust. And anytime you speak like somebody who's been attacked so much, you're not gonna get sympathy or any kind of positive fans because, like I said, he's too far gone in that world of all publicity or all attention is good attention because it feeds your
mm,
pockets to a degree. He probably wishes he could take it back and have more genuine fans, people that support him, and not necessarily just be known for being a troll. Even
yeah,
though being a troll is what gets him still making music videos, obviously still feeding his pockets, trying to say, "Oh, I disappeared for 6 months to lose weight and blah blah," like you're Busta Rhymes. Nobody cares, bro. And the fact that you can't find a grown man to go back and forth with you anymore, even though Meek Mill is kind of a bitch, but you can't find a real grown man to go back and forth with you. You're coming after women now. Come on, bro. Even if you could chalk it up to being a New York thing because Cardi B, New York, like maybe you could you could section that off differently. But nobody wants anything to do with you, not because they're they feel inferior to you. It's
for sure,
arguing with a child. That's what it is, bro. You're arguing with children. Not doing it.
for sure. What about another New York rapper? What about Bobby Schmurder? Got released from prison. The hat came back. I've been seeing so many videos of just like the old memes of like him dancing to like all the songs. A ton of stuff about like his hat returning to orbit. I seen one where it was like Thor's instead of Thor's new hammer, it was his hat flying around. I seen one where it was the scene where it was Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor versus Thanos, and then Captain America like gets the hammer, but instead it was Bobby Schmurder's hat like flying and hitting. Like,
I think the
man,
story and the narrative behind Bobby Shmurda's short rise to notoriety and then off to prison is
yeah,
more that's more famous than Bobby Shmurda
himself,
himself. Yeah.
yeah,
Like the story is something where I mean, let's keep it real. 2021, a Generation Z, whatever you want to call it, all the new shit going on. There's a lot of wave riders and there's a
for
lot
sure,
of you know what I'm saying, like culture vulture type of I'm just like leeches, I'm just leeching onto the vibe. And there's definitely people who don't really care for Bobby Shmurda, don't really care for his music, maybe recognize the one song that made it, that got big or whatever, but are just like, oh, everybody's saying he's so down because he took an extra charge for the bro and blah blah. And it's just like, does that really mean anything to you? Or are you just saying that because everybody else has like this form of respect for it? I personally don't mind. Glad he's out. Yeah, I heard he's a good guy. Went to go see his mom, this and that. I had no problems with it.
for
Obviously,
sure.
he still went to prison because of things he
Some
did,
knucklehead shit. Yeah,
right? But he did more time for not diming somebody else out. So if that's worth more respect than anything else, I guess. I don't feel that way. But at the same time, I hope he comes out and makes I don't care if he makes music. I'll be honest. I don't care if he makes music, bro. I'll be honest. All I know is if he comes out and makes some music it might be catchy, but if it's trash,
I
I
want
don't
it.
know if I could do it.
Yeah,
Congratulations though. Free him.
for
Free him.
sure, for sure. It's backwards now, so we can stop saying it.
Matter of fact, the only person who could bring 6ix9ine back from the grave is if Bobby Shmurda throws him in a diss. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, the guy who spent extra time in jail versus the guy who couldn't wait to get out on some bitch shit. Like it's just gonna be like
Huge publicity right there.
the
Fuck.
hood. The hood is at arms right now. I've never
But you
seen
know, it's interesting. They have a song together. That was like
from what
one
year?
of. It was from like right before Takashi got locked up. They made a song together. It was like one of those like over the phone, songs or whatever. So it would be interesting to see. I'm sure he's probably going to try to reach out to him. But I mean,
That sounds
you
like
have
a
some
bad.
balls. You have some balls to be a snitch and then reach out to the guy who took extra time.
That's not his homie though. Just because
Yeah.
see at the time 6ix9ine he was still on his ride
Yeah.
upwards of trolling.
For
So
sure.
Bobby Shmurda's like, oh, you hot? I make hot music. What's
Yeah.
good? Like it was that simple, But yeah.
What else? And I guess because Bobby Shmurda got released, Daft Punk decided to call it quits. So
because he got
there's that
released.
too.
Okay.
There was I saw a post earlier today that was like it was talking about the laws of alchemy and like the law of equivalent exchange, and it was like like in order to like gain something of equivalency must be like lost or whatever, and then it was like Bobby Shmurda release as early as tomorrow, and then it was like Daft Punk calls it quits after 28 years.
A one-hit wonder
would you
prison
call that-
sentence is not worth a tag team, bro. It's not
Oh,
worth
man.
28 years of
Yeah.
mixed mastery. I'm sorry. It's not. I'm not buying
Yeah,
it.
you got
Not buying it.
Daft Punk was one of the originals back in the day, and they definitely helped revolutionize and change what house music was. So it's really like a huge loss.
They
for,
had the
like,
best.
house
They had
music
the best mixes on DJ Hero.
They performed with
They
like, a
definitely
ton
did.
of like notable acts too. I mean,
You remember
they were
DJ
in
Hero?
Tron. They were in Tron as themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
I
they were the.
I haven't seen. I think there's like a video,
the
supposedly like a tribute
Deadmau5.
video or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard about it.
Oh shit, that's fucking funny. We gotta fix like this delay.
It's
or
gonna
latency
be a
issue.
doozy. This episode's a doozy, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Oh
Bruh,
man,
it's so weird because I could hear you. I could hear you guys perfectly. Your video and your audio is perfect on my end, but I guess that I'm coming out to you guys delayed.
A little slow. It's okay.
Well, it's like your reactions are slow. So like, when, yeah, like I see you doing that, but
Yeah,
like it's like when you start talking, it's like in the middle of us talking. I'm like, oh shit, like he meant to say something.
that's it.
Well,
It's so
how about you read the
hard.
next one then?
It's so hard.
That's what she said.
See, exactly. There's like 5 seconds of delay on this, and I can hear you guys perfect.
Okay, here, DJ. I'm gonna lead you into the next topic, and you just pick it up as soon as you hear it. All right. The next one is gonna be the Tiger Woods single vehicle accident.
So, obviously, the Tiger Woods accident happened not this long ago. I don't know how long this delay is, but Tiger Woods obviously got in an accident, a very serious wreck. They don't know 100% what the information is on what happened, on if there was alcohol or any sort of substance that was involved. I know that there are people that are trying to fish and try to figure out if something did happen. But obviously, he was in critical condition. They said it wasn't going to be life threatening. But obviously, prayers out to him, his family, whatever is going on. Obviously, we're talking about one of the greatest of all time. Whenever it comes to, whenever you think of golf, you think of Tiger Woods. So, I mean, definitely, it's one of those big things. Hopefully, he comes back better than ever next year.
I think they said it was not life threatening. We're talking about a golfer with a bad back. You take away two legs, his life is gone. Like I don't know how it's not
Yeah,
life threatening. Everything. I
yeah.
mean, I'm not trying to be negative. Like I still think as soon as it happened, I got the news. I said, you know what, the comeback story of all time would be if Tiger were to win just one more. I don't care how many years from now. I just hope he wins one more. I have actually been keeping up with it pretty tight, and they ruled it just a straight up accident because there was no blood alcohol level test because he seemed
Mm.
fine when they found him. So my guess is the dude was texting. Like I don't know if they're gonna be able to. I don't know. But there was no breaks.
I was thinking, either texting or
He jumped the
exhaustion.
medium. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know. He was on his way early in the morning. I guess he was in a rush, which pretty much just say he was speeding. Stop making just say he was speeding. He jumped the median, didn't hit the brakes because you didn't see no type of swerve or nothing. Just start and that was it. He was on his way to go help train Drew Brees with his golf swing. That's all I got. Nothing serious, but I mean, they said he had a compound leg fracture and like shattered his
he was
ankle.
really going to train Drew Brees.
That he was on his way to go like have like a training session with Drew Brees and Herbert. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, he was actually on his way. I saw a different report about it. He was going to go to not San Diego. It was a L.A., California area to train True Breeze and Justin Herbert, the rookie for the San Diego Chargers. And it kind of
Oh
sucks
wow,
because that would
I
have
did
been
not
pretty
know
cool.
that. I thought it was just, oh, for sure.
They said
I'm
the
sure
thing
we
that
got
might
we'll
have actually saved his life was the fact that that rental vehicle from the invitational that gave him that vehicle was like super secure and all 10 airbags went off.
Oh, nice.
So they
So he
say
was like kind of
that
just
might have
stuck in
played
the
a part.
middle.
That's
Yeah,
great.
so obviously the front
Yeah,
end of the car was smashed, which is why his legs didn't have a chance. But for everything else,
yeah.
that's probably why he could, he was able to speak and stuff.
This
But
definitely got to be in the documentary for his life. The later one, at least, like when there's like a biopic
and one
and
just
like
came
somebody's
out
playing
like
him.
Oh yeah,
less than a month ago. They just had like a
Well,
30 for 30 or
there's
whatever it's called.
that one. Yeah, that one is like like everybody's perspective. But I'm talking about like like the retelling a story or whatever. Like they'll have like some guy playing him as a kid, some guy playing him as like a
We'll see.
teenager,
We'll
adult.
see. I need to see all the I want to see all the white bitches in his life, or else I'm not gonna believe anything. I want the
Oh
truth.
shit!
I want the Ray Charles type biopic. I want the truth. I want the drugs. I want I need all of that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I need all of that.
Oh man. But it's crazy to think that he wasn't on drugs, considering that El Chapo's wife was arrested for drug trafficking.
That's crazy.
He- I feel like
After this long. Cause like usually like like you ever watch like mob movies or obviously like like Narcos or we know about these stories. But
yeah,
all of these, it's usually men, but all of these men who are like tycoons and like they're just like drug lords and stuff, there's always two sides of them. There's the evil, don't give a fuck about nothing about my paper side, and there's the loving family man side where nobody in my
yeah,
family's about to deal with this illegal
for
activity,
sure.
right? And that's kind of how it felt. I mean, obviously, like the sons, the nephews, some people in and out, but it's mostly like, hey, protect the women type of. And it's like, well, we always knew that no matter when he got caught up, she was going to say, I didn't know anything was going on. I thought he was just a, blah, blah, this and that. So I thought that was over with, bro. We talking about 30 years back now where they're like, oh, yeah, yep, trafficking. You helped him escape from the prison in Mexico. Like, damn, how did they find this out now?
Crazy. Go ahead, DJ.
It's actually kind of crazy because like he's like everything that you're saying, it's like that's like a true ride or die. Like for real, that's a true ride or die. That's someone that was willing to pick up that like even though it's kind of shady and all that stuff, obviously illegal stuff going on, but picking up where he left off and like keeping that family business alive. That's the kind of thing that I think was actually kind of cool about that story.
It's Um,
It's crazy, man. I don't know how it's really gonna play out because I think a lot of people are actually they're not surprised by like the accusations, but I think they are surprised that like, wow, they actually like she's in jail now. Did not see that one coming, bro.
yeah, you would just think that the family at least would remain protected for like the rest of their life or something, you know. But it is what it is. What about Potato Head? There's not really much to say on there, I guess. I just feel like this kind of whole gender neutral thing is going a little bit too far. Like Mr. Potato Head is a thing in Toy Story, and so is Mrs.
What
Potato
exactly? There was already two.
Head. Yeah, so like
So are we? Is this trying? Is this again trying not to offend the in
the
between the
gender.
tweeners?
Yeah, I'm sure. Go ahead, DJ.
I just think that it's weird that like I mean because we see now that we have like Mr. Potato Head and Miss Potato Head, and then we had the Washington football team, which was the Redskins. With all this stuff that's going on, people are being so sensitive. Like it's like I get it. They took Aunt Jemima off of the what is it called, off the bottle. They took
Syrup bottle.
the Indian woman
Yeah.
off of that the butter. Yeah, off the butter. It's like they're doing so much that it's like these are things that are like ingrained in a lot of us. And it's not like most of the time it's not even that it's not supposed to be the racial figure. It's just supposed to be something that everyone got into. Like when you think about syrup, one of the syrups you thought of was Aunt Jemima's, and it's like a cultural icon that's now gone for that
It's
specific
the syrup.
area.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
the syrup. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what's
See,
crazy is though, like now that I come to think of it, the oversensitivity that's been a long time in the making. Like we watched society go from you got to toughen up. Things aren't easy. You got to be gritty. You got to work hard and this and that, and don't be scared to speak your mind. And in the short 10-year 2005 to 2015, it just said, "Whew,
well,
careful what you say. Don't hurt nobody feelings," because it's like, come on, bro.
you want to know where I think that actually stems from? I think it stems from children's like TV shows. Like television is a
Absolutely.
relatively like in the grand scheme of things, television is a relatively new thing. And obviously, when it first came out, there was like a couple programs. For the rest of the day, it was like nothing, just blank
It
screen.
raises your kids now. It's part of
Yeah.
raising your children. What they
So like
watch is a
when we
big
were growing
part.
up, yeah, when we were growing up, like, and I'm probably kids in like the 80s to 80s and 90s for sure. Like a lot of what we were consuming was like Sesame Street, a lot of Mr. Rogers, things where that talked about inclusivity, being progressive, things like that. So it's like I really do feel like a lot of like the sensitivity that we're experiencing nowadays stems from us like growing up. Like that's now just we're the adults now though. So now everybody is like, you're supposed to be nice to me. You're not supposed to care about the color of my skin, which isn't a bad thing for sure. But I think that because there was such a focus on that, it's so ingrained in our people, like, our generation, like you have to be sensitive, you have to care about other people's feelings and things like that. And it's like, yeah, I care, but let me not care all that much, like a little bit less would be cool. Go ahead, DJ.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like what they say in the military. In the military, they say you go to like the high and to the right. Well, and that's kind of what's been happening in this generation. You got like all these people that are like that were grew up with what is right, and like you're saying, all these things that people are saying, like all this inclusivity and not being able to like judge people based on the color of their skin and how they act, and how we should all be this one society of people that like human beings that truly care for one another. But then there's people that take it way to the right and make it a lot harder to to go with that than what it really should be.
It's just
For
the
sure.
earth. It's the earth society. Like I think back to when I was working the stock room at Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Like Walmart is like earth. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the one place where everybody plays part in it. But you have people of different colors, people of different heights, like all that stuff. But ultimately, like, hey, we all wearing this blue vest, homie. You know what I mean? Like, fall in line, right? The
Yeah.
problem is a Walmart employee crew might consist of 200 employees, and the world consists of 7 billion. So, like,
Yeah.
those small percentages, and even like at a regular workplace, you're gonna have 2 or 3 people who are outcasts, 2 or 3 who just choose not to be with anybody else, or some people who are bad. But you play that percentage into 7 billion, you're talking about millions of people who don't get along. And really, when you think about it from like a broad perspective, it's not so bad in comparison to most of us in the world who are actually getting along. But now that we have the time and the resources and the videos and the audio to really pinpoint people who aren't exactly with the grand scheme of progression with society, we got time. And we're coming after folks. Like, that's just how it feels.
That's a fact, Jack, for sure. Well, what else? Lady Gaga's dog walker shot multiple times. It's fucking insane.
That's crazy.
There's $500,000 reward for her dogs to be returned. That story
Don't
is just
even
kind of
care
nuts to me,
about the
just because,
dude.
like, yeah,
The
like
dogs.
the dogs are like the important part. It's like there should be like a reward for the attacker to be turned in or something. Like it's fucking crazy. Like I don't know. Like the dogs, sure. Like I get some people, they treat animals like family. You should treat animals like family. They are, But like $500,000 for some dogs, and your walker was shot. Are you? You got to be paying the medical bills for that. Please tell me you're paying the medical bills, because that's wild.
I'm hoping I
And like,
find
who
them.
was
I'm
really
hoping I
out there
find
on
them
like the
dogs,
low?
man.
Like, I'm trying to.
How intimidating was that dog walker to be like, you know what? I'm taking these dogs off your hands. Okay. Is you about to get shot for it? Like how
Pop, pop, give me them dogs. Run
bro,
that shit.
and no disrespect, rest in peace. That is horrible. But I'm gonna tell you right now, unless he was getting, and now Lady Gaga's dog's probably worth a lot. That's why she's putting up $500,000 for the return or whatever. So my guess is that dog walker was probably making pretty good money.
Probably, yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like if somebody has to walk dogs for a living, they don't deserve to die, bro. Like, come on, you already doing jobs that other people are.
Wait, did he say he died?
Did he die?
Well, who shoots a guy and
I
intends
thought he
not
just
to
got
kill?
shot.
Well, it said all I read was shot multiple times. I don't know if the guy died or not. That's why I was just like, damn, he died too. Like, imagine dying for walking a dog. I'd be like, hey, yo, God, you got to give me a redo, bro. This is foul. You can't get. I'm going out
Right,
like
I
this.
jumped the gun.
Walking some dog.
Maybe the guy's not dead. I'm not. Being shot is like step one to dying. So like, I'm sorry. I'm not walking no dogs at risk.
But I also,
he's critical.
I also had the idea that maybe
critically wounded. I can't even fucking say that word.
Critically injured. Oh, wounded. Okay. I also had the idea though that potentially it might have been a setup. Like he might have orchestrated this himself. Like he's like, okay,
hey bro,
just hit me.
Pull up on me when I'm walking these bitches and shoot me.
Yeah, but like in non-vital areas though. Non-vital area. But if he's critically wounded, I'm sure that's not the case. But my idea originally was like I was like maybe a foot, maybe in the arm or something.
Yeah.
Oh damn, I'm in the hospital. Gaga, they took the dogs. All right. Send the dogs back when she puts out that fucking money, and then we're gonna be good. But if he's critically wounded, for sure.
Bro, I told you to shoot me in the arms. You shot me in my chest.
I got nervous, bro. I got nervous when I had the steel in my hand. Shit.
Imagine setting up your own plot to probably come up financially and almost dying because the guy shot you in the wrong spot. Like, come on, bro.
That'd be fucking
That's
terrible.
crazy. Lady Gaga cares more about
bro, we already see
her dogs than that dog walker. So, I mean,
let me go into these. There's a lot of movie and TV news, and then we can talk about that trailer too, real quick. Well, actually, some gaming news, real quick. Skyward Sword HD announced for the Zelda 35th anniversary at Nintendo Direct. Peter and Mithra from Xenoblade Chronicles, if anybody in the world has ever played that shit, revealed as the new DLC characters from Smash Bros. Ultimate, which is a huge shocker because they know what people wanted. There's a ton of characters people wanted. I mean, fucking Sora, Master Chief, fucking the guy from Fortnite. Like, there's a bunch of characters that people were like, oh, it's going to be him. It's going to be him. And then, like, to see this was kind of super shocking. Anyways, movies and TV. Atlanta season 3 and 4 are going to begin filming next month in March. So that's kind of cool. Speaking of that, though, I read recently that Mission Impossible 7 wrapped up filming, And initially, Mission Impossible 8 was supposed to begin filming right after that film, but due to like other engagements and I think because of the so that whole what Top Gun Maverick or whatever, it was supposed to come out I think like last year or whatever, and it didn't. But now Tom Cruise has to do like a new like what not tour, but you know, like when they're hyping up the marketing campaign or whatever, he's got to do a new one now. So now they have to delay the filming of the eighth movie. And I'm not a huge fan of Mission Impossible. I've seen like clips of like different films, but I'm hearing from a lot of fans like those are movies, and it's really rare to find sequels that get better. But evidently, like they just keep getting better and better and better. So I'm kind of interested to watch them, especially since there's 6 of them out already, and it's like that might be cool little like movie day or something. You know, check out all the Mission Impossibles. Um, Spider-Man 3, the subtext was revealed after some trolling from the main actors and actresses, Tom Holland, Zendaya, Jacob. Um, the titles that they all put out were Homewrecker, Phone Home, and Home Slice, and the real title has been revealed to be Spider-Man: No Way Home, which is going to be it'll probably be really good. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of like cameos and appearances that we're going to be seeing and be like, oh man, this is super, super sick. Like there was so much reporting about like people coming to set. We have no way to confirm if any of that shit was real or not, but fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. Um, Speaking of Marvel films, Blade does not have an R rating apparently. Kevin Feige has come out and said that Deadpool 3 is the only like Disney exception for an R rating, and which would mean that Blade does not have R rating, which is not good because I don't know if you guys remember this or not. The original Blade movies were rated R. He's a very violent hero, obviously, sword, cutting
Yeah.
people's limbs off, stabbing shit, people kind of disintegrating, all kinds of stuff like that. So if we're not getting that level of action and violence, I don't really want that Blade. I mean, I'm gonna go watch it because support, but I don't want to see it if it's like little pitter patter. What else we got here? What else we got here? George Lucas back writing for another Star Wars series, I guess. That's kind of cool. Some people might think it's bad because some people think that George Lucas is probably the worst thing that happened to Star Wars, even though he created Star Wars. But I mean, hey, whatever.
How you gonna tell the guy he's messing up on his creation, bro? I'm sorry, you can't do it.
It's crazy, right? But I mean, like, because he made the prequel trilogy. So like people are like obviously Star Wars was made and he made it great or whatever, right? The first original trilogy. He made the prequel trilogy and people were like, oh, this is you messing it up. It's terrible now, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel that way personally, but there are like a lot of like just shit that you see in the movie. Like there's like a YouTube video that's like 20 minutes long or something like that. And it's like points out all like the bad things about the prequel trilogy. And like when you kind of watch it, you kind of like see it a lot more. And you're like, yeah, you're right. This wasn't a good like one of the big things like Jar Jar Binks having like that like slave accent. Like what the fuck was that, man? But I mean, fuck it. He's back. Whatever. Workaholics movie was announced in Paramount. They're doing like Paramount Plus, so they're having their own streaming service. Which also added that Avatar Studios was announced by Nickelodeon, which is going to be a part of that whole Paramount Plus thing.
That's
So
crazy.
their first project, they're going to work on an animated film that takes place in the Avatar: The Last Airbender universe. So we're probably going to get a shit ton more Avatar content, maybe something after The Legend of Korra, probably more animated films. I'm excited to see more content, especially if it's in the Last Airbender universe, like that section of time. My favorite cast of characters. Why wouldn't I want to see more shit from there? You know what I mean? And plus, we only saw them when they were kids. We have no idea what the fuck Aang did when he was older. Besides that guy who was a bloodbender, a psychic bloodbender or whatever. He's the only one that um we saw that he did something else when he was older. Really, we got little glimpses of him here and there, or whatever, but we never really saw what else or what other trials he had to do as the Avatar when he got older. Plot. And I always say this all the time. America's in a constant state of nostalgia. We got the Proud Family returning and the Rugrats returning. Let me get y'all thoughts on that.
You returning like new episodes?
New episodes, but like different animation styles. So like the Rugrats one looks very similar, but it's going to be like 3D. And then the Proud Family one looks like it's the same character designs, obviously, but like in a slightly different art style.
Why? Let the shit
nostalgia.
die. Come up. Just keep coming up with new cartoons, man.
Sometimes I'll be feeling like maybe like there's something about like our generation that like everything was like the best. I can't say that's true. You know, that I might just be saying, you know, I might just be feeling my
It.
generation
You
a
know
little
what
bit,
it
but
is? It. It's like when things came out before we were born, and we go back and watch old movies. You know what I mean? And then there's remakes, and it's like, well, we weren't here for the original, so we're gonna watch the remake. You know? So
yeah.
there's stuff that came out when we were kids, where when we think back, like, hey, remember the good old days? We used to watch this, we used to watch that, and now it's like it's kind of spoiled when they make remakes of stuff that was cool for us to watch when it existed. Because now
Yeah.
it's like the remakes, and now you have all the kids like, oh, I watched this show, I like this show. But it's like, but you weren't there in '97 when it was raw. You know what I mean? Like, it's just you weren't there for the originals.
I think the weird part now too is that like for the majority of these shows like Rugrats and Proud Family, the same cast is going to come back. I'm pretty sure. Like most of those people are alive. I feel like when like our generations like for like remix and stuff, we're used to kind of seeing a new cast from like something. Oh, like that's an old movie from like the '70s or the '80s or whatever. But it's a brand new cast for whatever you know the content is. But in this case, it's like I know pretty much everybody that was in Proud Family is still alive and I don't know about for Rugrats for sure, but everybody that was in Proud Family is still alive. So I'm like, I can't imagine them going to different people, you know, for that. You know, the whole cast could just return and be like, okay, we never, you know, nobody in there was wilding except for like Orlando Brown. They might replace his character, Sticky, but I mean that's
Nah,
about
his
it.
ass will come back. I heard he's getting cleaned up. Go ahead, DJ.
But I feel like the thing with these remakes, because I don't know if you also saw they're also doing an Ed and Eddie remake. That remake has also got greenlit, and they already
Yeah,
teased the animation style as well. I think that the one thing that they mess up, and one of the things that kind of sucks, is they mess up the animation whenever they're going for it. Because obviously for us in that generation, we got this nostalgia kick whenever we see these things. Obviously, we see all these, like we see it right now with video games too. Video games are getting remade, and a lot of these nostalgic video games that were like the Pokemon series did it with
New
Pokemon
Powerpuff
Fire Red,
Girls.
and uh, yeah, and all that stuff. Like Powerpuff Girls came out, and we had all these other things. But I think it's these poor adaptations that pull away from what they used to be and what they actually were. You know?
Like, yeah, we know the graphics weren't as good 20 years ago. That's understood. But that honestly, there's something special about that because the advancement of technology and then internet, you know, post like 2010 when like the household computer and cell phone was like you know, everywhere. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Before then, it was like, yeah, the graphics weren't how they were. It's just like going back and watching movies that are in black and white. You can't just add color to them. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's just how it is, you know. And it gives it like it's like literally part of that culture. It's the same reason why I still collect vinyl records. I know that I could download music. I know that there's, you know, iPods and all type of stuff, but it's just it's from a time period that you can't change. You can't change it. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
for sure.
saying? And I just think with the upgrade and the remakes, it's almost like, yeah, we get it. It's so popular that you're paying homage to it, but essentially you're changing the narrative and the story of that cartoon or that movie or that, you know, that album, whatever. You're just changing it, and it's like, well, it's not taking away from the other ones, but it's just like it makes it a little less special to enjoy when you know it's like it's that time frame was what made it special, you know?
Mhm.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that it also like whenever it comes down to these remakes, they're also trying to like you're trying to like strike gold twice. You're trying to go back to that old style of what made it big. So we had this humor back in the day, back in the '90s and the mid '90s that wouldn't fly now. Like if you you watch some of these old TV shows, they have some pretty so they can be racy and they can be like a little controversial. And back in the day, that was
Stereotypical
a little bit
jokes.
better. Yeah, yes, more stereotypical jokes. And you see that with like even TV shows like Pinky and the Brain. They just had this new series of Pinky and the Brain coming out, and it's like even they made fun of themselves as like we don't even know what we can say anymore. So I mean, it's very hard when you have a very different taste back in those days to what it is now. You can't really strike that again without hurting the fan base that liked it and saying, "Oh, that's not what it used to be."
You know
right?
what's
Because the
actually really
creativity.
interesting about this?
Go ahead.
The interesting thing I was going to say about this is that because we're mainly talking about like American, obviously animation, American cartoons and stuff like that, but you don't really have this problem in with Japanese animation or anime basically,
Yeah,
because
because we do the
the
remakes. We still make the remakes
yeah
for other
we
countries.
well, well no I was gonna say because like even like older stuff is like it still reigns like true, you know, like it's like people could be like, oh, like what are the best animes, right, or whatever, you know, and like you'll say like a bunch of stuff from today, but like equally as important or great and just as well drawn, you know, are stuff like Fashion Stampede, Cowboy Bebop, uh, Full Metal Alchemist, you know, like the list goes on. There's a ton of stuff that's come out way before, like in the 80s and the 90s from Japanese animation studios that looks superb still. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
Yeah.
it's because another thing is because like American cartoons look so goofy half the time. They're not very like well drawn, obviously. But that's like the style. That's what they're going for, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
A little
it's
goofier look
intentional.
because their style and their content is really way more geared towards children, like little kids, not like you know teens or like preteens or something, but like little kids. You know, like kids
It's
that are
not
going to be like,
supposed
okay,
to look human. It's
yeah,
not
exactly.
supposed to look that way.
So then like so in Japanese animation studios, like when you get a remake or a redo or something like that, like for example, one that's coming out soon is Shaman King. Shaman King was released in like the 90s, I think, early 90s, something like that, and it finished years ago, obviously like the late 2000s or something like that. The manga finished way before the anime did, obviously, and the anime doesn't even have the same material. And I don't know if it's because of that or just because of how old it is that they decided to say, hey, we're going to green light a remake of this. So now you're going to get it again and it's going to look like however good it's going to look. I've heard that they're supposed to do this for Yu Yu Hakusho, which is another very old animation too. I think that ended in like the 80s. It still looks great. People still consider it one of the GOATs, but it's super old. And the only thing they're going to end up doing it to it is make it look a little bit newer, you know, make the colors look a little bit more vibrant, you know, make the animation a little bit more crisp. That's about it
That's
though.
why that's why I think the only genre of remakes that's going to be successful is games, because you can literally make the gameplay the exact same and all you're doing is upgrading the graphics. That's why I really enjoyed the remake of Tony Hawk, because going back and realizing like, hey, their hands used to be square. The board used to flip. There was no shade. So the
Yeah,
gameplay is the exact same, but the graphics are great. So that's the game is where the remakes I'm kind of okay with if the game stays the same.
Yeah, and I could see the same thing whenever it comes to they had a Legend of Zelda remake. Me and Brandon were talking about this pre-show to the pre-show. They had a Legend of Zelda remake that just came out, or that came out a while ago, and they're remaking Skyward Sword, like in the news that we have. There's a video games and anime, just like how we saw with Dragon Ball Z Kai, and we got the new Saint Seiya for that came out for Netflix. It's easier for them to remake it because they're keeping with the source material. It's the same game just amplified. It's the same anime just cutting the fat and giving you way better animation styles. And it's easier to bring that into someone's light that saw it 20 years ago that you can now show your kids. Like I watched Saint Seiya a long time ago, and then I watched it with my kids the other day. Well, not the other day, but like months ago before I left to Connecticut, and it was like something that they could actually get into because it was more colorful, it had more vibrancy, it was more the animation style was crisper and cleaner, and it wasn't looking like it's the difference between watching a 360p video on YouTube and watching the 4K 1080 2140 shit that we have now on YouTube. It's just a reimagining
All
with the
pixelated.
same content. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
for sure. Um, what about this Mortal Kombat trailer? Did you guys check it out?
Hey, look, even people who on online, like on Facebook or whatever social media, even people who we'd never think were into Mortal Kombat, and I'm not like a super fan, but I'm aware You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was born in 1990. I'm aware. You know what I'm saying? Like it was around. Even people I'd never expected, they watched the trailer and like, yo, that looks hard. So I'm excited, yo. That's all I got to say. Really, I'm excited to check
I
that out.
couldn't believe they actually showed so much blood in the trailer, and then that they showed Jax like getting his arms like taken off. I was like, oh wow, okay. I thought they would just like freeze it and then just like stop, but shit, crazy.
I just think that like it's awesome because like you guys said with all that with the gore and with it given an R rating, it looks so it looked great. Watching the pseudo fatalities in the trailers alone, I thought were amazing, and I'm actually super excited for it to come out.
Fuck yeah. The only thing that I was a little bit upset about was the I forget his name, the new character that they've kind of created, and then there's no Johnny Cage. But I mean, like they're both kind of just white dudes, so I mean, you could probably just interchange them. Maybe somebody said something funny that like, oh, his name is Cole, and they were like, oh, like he's Cole the Cage Fighter, and maybe after the tournament he'll go by like the name Johnny Cage or something like that. It's something silly, but I was like, we'll see.
Hmm.
I'm hoping he's just kind of like like there's like a filming technique where like you kind of use a character as like the like for the audience, and I'm kind of hoping that's like what his character's for. Like he's just kind of like there to be our eyes and ears, if you will, to like kind of like see like from our perspective like what maybe like a regular guy would be like in this tournament or something. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see that. Which also reminds me of Patrick Cloud's been doing this series called Punchy about like regular dudes in Mortal Kombat, and he was like, "Man, like I'm good at low sweeps, man." Because they were like, "What's your power?" He's like, "Low sweeps." Like, what are you talking about? Mixed martial arts. And he's like, "Let me see who signed on this list." And he was like, "Sub Zero." It says his power is freezing. He's like, "Yeah, he could." Shoots ice, and he was like, "Shoots ice, like with what?" And he's like, "Out of his hands, I think." Out of his hands? He's like, "Oral, 4 arms," and he's like, "Yeah, dude's big. He's 4 arms." But so yeah, that was funny. But yeah, man. Like I said, I'm super excited about it. I can't wait till it comes out. It comes out in April, I think, like towards the beginning of April. Forget the exact date, but the cast looks great. The costumes look great. Plenty of characters. I'm sure there's probably more to look forward to as well. Um, I don't think that Shao Kahn. Hopefully, Shao Kahn will make an appearance like at the end, maybe, and maybe we'll see like a like a tie-in to maybe part 2 or something. Kind of like they did for Mortal Kombat 1. Like the original series, the original movies. I mean, that'd be kind of cool to see. But only time will tell, right? But if you guys don't got nothing else, that about wraps it up.
Did we skip
Good.
over anything? Oh, I got a question.
I'll
You
go ahead.
put and honestly I didn't ask this before, but a certain TV show became the most popular show in the US.
Oh shit! Attack on Titan. How did I forget
Okay,
that?
so AOT means Attack on Titan. I had no
Yeah,
idea what. I honestly don't watch that much television. I am into the streaming services, so I don't know if I'm
yeah.
just missing out on that. But I had no idea what that was.
So Attack on Titan is just a really popular anime. Some people consider it the goat right now. Some people think it's like basically like gore core or something like that. Like it's very violent, extremely violent. But the thing that kind of separates it from like other shows that are just super violent or whatever or super gory, it has like a really strong like political like theme to it. So it's kind of like imagine like Democrats and Republicans, but then like there's like a secret that they've been keeping away from us for hundreds of years, and then we all find out about the secret, and then the military decides to fight back against another group of people, and it's just crazy. It's elitism, politics, ancient secrets, just like so many things that tie into it, and then war and violence, and it I feel like the first time I watched the episode, I was kind of so enthralled with like the way the Titans were. For me, it's kind of like lost its luster a little bit because of identities being revealed, certain people being able to control their powers as Titans and stuff like that, the Titan shifters, if you will. But the concept of like these giant beings, just like almost like zombies, basically. It to me it was like a zombie movie, but they're just giant. There's giants. They pick you up, eat you. They don't care. They're just chomping you down, and they don't do it for any kind of like same like zombies. It's not for any kind of like sustenance or anything. They just do it because that's what they do. And then like they fucking you just go into this like sack or whatever, and they just spit up all like the body parts into this sack when they're done with it. You know, it's like it's fucking insane. And then like, you know, it's almost like The Walking Dead in the fact that like, you know, don't have a favorite character because that motherfucker's not gonna last. You know, like
Yeah.
everybody's dying left and right, you know, or getting tore up to some degree or whatever, you know. So it's a cool series. I
And when we
recommend it
talk
for
about like a
anybody who
Titan,
definitely wants to get into anime and looking for a little bit of a brain teaser.
yeah, when you're talking about a Titan too, like we're comparing it like imagine picking up an action figure and holding it in your hand like a regular size action figure. That's how big these motherfuckers are.
Yeah, they have like this interesting animation style too, where like they make the faces look almost like they look like not the uncanny valley, but it's like they're creepy to look at. Like I don't really like the faces, like kind of like they're off-putting the way the Titans look, because they're humans basically, essentially, right? But they're turned into like these giant creatures or whatever. But the faces, like they just look so off-putting. Like it's a good watch, man. If, like I said, if you're ever interested in trying to watch it, check it out. It's on, I think they have like the first season or two on Netflix, so you know you can always check it out if ever you want to. But I think that about wraps it up, right, gentlemen?
Yeah, I think that's all we got.
I just
All
kind of
right,
wanted to bring I
all
just
right,
kind of wanted to
piglets. This
bring
has
in
been another
something real
installment.
quick.
Oh,
Ah, damn. Sorry. No, I just wanted to bring up as we got in our text chat that Diablo 2 Resurrected is getting or Diablo 2 is getting remastered again. It's just a game. We literally just got an update about it right now from Gilbert.
wow,
Yeah.
that's actually pretty cool, because Diablo 2 is the first Diablo game I ever heard of, and obviously I've only ever played Diablo 3, so it might be actually kind of cool to revisit that. And I know Diablo 4 is also coming out. I don't know when, but they got like little reveal videos and all kinds of shit
Eventually.
already on the game. But all right, piglets, this has been another installment of Culture by the Uncultured. Excuse me. Oh man. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Culture by the Uncultured. Remember, piglets, Culture by the Uncultured is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. We hope everyone out there is staying safe, and if you can't be safe, be deadly. Catch you guys next time. Later, piglets.